Welcome to the Yakuza Fan Podcast, episode number 30 from March 2nd? No, shit. March 3rd, 2017. We're back after a long break, and I still can't get the date right. Now, first up, I want to apologize for running so late. I know it's been a little while since our last episode. There's been a few changes to the format. Cal's out. He's no longer with us. He's not on the podcast anymore. He's not working on the site. We wish him the best with whatever he does, and that's the end of that. I don't want to go into too much detail about it because it doesn't matter at this point. Let's face it, who cares? So, you're all probably wondering, Deacon, how are you going to continue this podcast? You're not a very interesting person. You get super hype about things and then fall asleep halfway through the conversation. Well, let me tell you. I brought in the one person that I can think of that can actually tolerate my bullshit. Maybe more so than Cal. Let's find out. I would like to introduce you guys to my sweet baby brother, Lachlan. Lachlan, are you there?
Hey.
Lachlan's broadcasting in live from Australia as we speak. We're doing an international podcast, two Aussie boys shooting the shit talking about Yakuza. So, Lachlan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Riveting to be here. I feel like... oh god, what's his name from The Fifth Element when he's interviewing Colby?
Ruby Rod?
Yeah, I feel like Ruby Rod. So, my man, how's it feel to be here today? Thrilled. Okay, so...
By the way, you said March?
I don't know.
I believe we're in April now.
No! Oh no! Why wouldn't you stop me? We're not even in April.
No, we're in May.
We're in May. I'm like, oh no. It's like May 3rd. What am I doing?
Oh, 2 months out.
Oh my god. Okay, well, this is embarrassing. Okay, let's take it from the top. Episode 30 for May 3rd, 2017. Okay, this... We're off to a shaky start, but that's okay. We can recover from this and stick the landing. So, I guess let's get started a little bit. Lachlan, why don't you introduce yourself? Say hi. What your favorite games are? What you're going to bring to the table here?
I'm Lachlan. I enjoy action RPGs, Metroidvanias.
Long walks on the beach.
More of them. Yep. Actually, I hate the beach. It's too sandy.
Sand gets everywhere.
Wasn't pale. I burn like there's no tomorrow.
You are. You're a redhead. You're a ginger, as the people say, as the colloquial term. I've seen you burn in the snow. When you were coming up here and you're staying with me, and it was like -20 outside, and you'd come home with a sunburn. The struggle is very real. So you're all about Metroidvanias?
Yeah. My favorite genre.
So I take it, I'm going to just make the assumption Symphony of the Night is your favorite game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So what's your second favorite game then?
I don't know. So many.
Riveting.
Maybe Link to the Past.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. Zelda, I'm sure I've mentioned this many times on the show, but Zelda is one of those series that I just have always really struggled to get into. Like, I made a good crack at playing Ocarina of Time and just kind of fell off the bandwagon. The only Zelda at this point that I've actually finished is Skyward Sword, and even then I thought it was kind of meh.
That's not a great one.
No.
I didn't finish that. I threw out my back, swinging the Wii remote around.
Physical pain from the Wii U?
That was bad for about a week there.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so what else? What else do you enjoy playing? Have you played any Yakuza games?
I have. I've played the first one to 100%.
You actually
get secret boss.
You actually completed the whole thing, or you did all the heat actions, did all of it, or just as much as you could?
Don't you need to do it all to fight that secret boss? I can't remember.
In Yakuza 1, I think it's just... I can't remember if it's all of the sub-stories or whether you actually have to do all the heat actions as well. I thought it was just the sub-stories, though.
I think I got everything.
Yeah. That game is insane.
I am a crazy person when it comes to that.
It really...
It's a checklist.
I have never seen... I have never seen someone so over the top with trying to collect every single thing there is to do in a video game. Like, if there is something that needs to be done, no matter how long it takes, I've seen you sit there for days. Like, what is the longest you've spent trying to accomplish something in a game?
One that springs to mind is the first Nier. I got all the weapons to max.
Okay, that's not too bad because I did that too. The first Nier is like in my top 3 favorite games. I would say for you, maybe Drakengard, getting all the weapons upgraded. I'm pretty sure
I tried with Drakengard.
I thought you.
I fell off.
I thought you got the secret ending. I remember watching you play against like that secret final boss in modern day. Am I crazy, or am I remembering a YouTube video I watched and just think it was you?
Well, Drakengard's weird because that secret ending might be like ending D out of like 5 or 6 different endings. That's not the true ending of Drakengard.
Oh, no, I understand. I just thought that specific secret ending was the one you got from, like, getting all the secret weapons. Like, from upgrading everything to max. Going through...
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, it must have been this weird dream that I had then. I've got Drakengard sitting here. I've got so many games that are just here, and I really want to turn around and play, and it's like... Every single time that I think of playing something else comes out. Like I just bought Tony Hawk Underground 1 and 2 for like $20, and then like Nier Automata came out, and then Persona 5 came out, and then Night in the Woods came out, and it's just been this onslaught of video games that I just can't stay on top of.
Yeah, I've got an ever increasing pile.
You may be the
sitting in this.
You might be the only person I know that has a crazier backlog than me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you buy just about everything, and you are so weird about which games you choose to actually play. I don't know how you actually get anything done.
Oh, it's been slow going for a while.
Yeah.
Last year and this year, it's been pretty slow undertakings. Mostly because I just play whatever I feel like at the moment. If I feel like modern shooters, I'll play something like that. If I feel like a hack and slash fantasy game,
okay,
take that on. Very rarely it's JRPGs, so I don't get a lot of those done.
JRPGs are very...
Sucks.
Yeah. Well, Persona's probably the only game that I'm playing this year that's a full-on JRPG. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'll be playing I played Zero, I'll be playing Kiwami. As soon as 6 hits next year, I'm going to be playing the hell out of that. Like, I've already beat 6. It's mediocre, but I'm going to play the hell out of it again in English.
Yeah, I want to play through Persona. Persona 4, I played through a lot of it, and I think that was because it's on the Vita. I find portable JRPGs way easy to play.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, the only way I got through Final Fantasy 12, which is an incredibly long game, was I got through about a third of it, and then stopped playing it for about a couple of months. My friend was like, "Oh, I'm going to pick it up." I was like, "Well, I can't let him.
Of course.
Further than me, that's crazy." I started playing it before him. Yeah. And then I spent several days just grinding out license grid upgrades.
I don't know how you bother with all this kind of crap. There are so many things I would rather do with my time. Like, don't get me wrong, I 100% a Nier and Automata. Like, I am usually... when I get into a game, I get really into a game, but like, I feel like you will go to the nth degree. Like, I 100% a Nier because I wanted all of the endings. You filled out the sphere, or the job grid, or whatever the hell it is, because you're insane.
I did that to make the rest of the game easier, which it did.
Yeah, but like, how much game was left?
Like 90% of the game.
Oh, well, I guess then. How quickly can you fill this thing out?
It took a couple days. Huh. Of grinding one room over and over again.
Oh my god, why? That's literally insane. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. I was listening to some podcasts at the time.
Oh my god.
It's fine.
No, it's not fine. You need professional help. So I believe we're talking about how much better it is to have games portable. I'm trying to think of the last game that I played. Okay, here's one that Sega actually sent me the other day. The Caligula Effect for Vita. Like, have you heard of that one at all?
I know that it's a Persona ripoff.
Yes, it's kind of a Persona ripoff, but on the other hand, it's written by the same guy that wrote Persona 1. So it's hard to get upset about it. And really, the gameplay is completely different to Persona. Like, it couldn't be... I went in there expecting it to be Persona-esque. It is nothing like Persona at all.
Well, it's Persona 1.
No, it's nothing like Persona 1. It is friggin' bizarre. Like, I'm just going to give you the breakdown of this. You're a guy who gets trapped in a virtual world by some weird virtual idol. And people around you have realized that they don't need to care about their what they say because the world is virtual, so that you can just be like a horrible troll to someone, which lets their negative emotions run wild and turns them into these weird monsters. For some reason, you're able to put out positive feelings, and that manifests itself in a set of weapons that you then get to fight all these trolls with. And you have to cleanse them of those negative feelings and turn them back into like functioning members of society. Now, the thing that I thought was really, really weird about this, there's this insane social link system, but it's nowhere as deep as Persona's one was. Like, you go to like a school full of students, and I'm talking like 500 students, and then you get a grid of every single one of those students, and you can go through and befriend every single one. And like, some of them are members of cliques, and you can't get access to that clique until you've made friends with someone else who's also a member of another clique. So you end up getting this insanely strange socializing game, and then also this JRPG that, I gotta be honest, has one of the worst frame rates I've ever seen in a game. It's fucking atrocious.
Is this school in the virtual realm?
Yes. It's manifest as a school. I don't know if all of the students are actually school age or whether they're just projections of being that age. Like, that they can't tell you what happened to your physical body. But just in this school, you're always the same age. And it makes no sense. And like, they're talking about it, like, one guy was like, oh, I'm a second year, first year. And he's like, what does that mean? He's like, well, I've been here for 2 years, I think. It's weird. It's very weird. I'm really interested to see where the story goes. Right now, the story is the most interesting part of the game. The gameplay, like the moment-to-moment, like, JRPG-ness of it, I find confusing, quite frankly. Like, it's not even menus. It's like moves that do specific things when comboed with other moves. And then you're able to switch those out with with different moves. But you all have to make all of those moves work together in a weird synergy. So, like, say a bad guy has a shield, you'll need to perform a move that does a shield break, followed by a move that, like, kicks him into the air, followed by a move that does double damage to enemies that are airborne. Like, and this is all picked from a menu, and you line up, like, 3 or 4 moves at a time, and then you execute them, and then it plays out, and then the bad guy gets a turn.
So, pretty much just a less interesting Tokyo Mirage session.
Yeah, honestly, Tokyo Mirage Session. I actually really, really like Tokyo Mirage Session. It's maybe my favorite game on the Wii U next to Wonderful 101. But, oh man, it's just... I'm not sold on the gameplay. Like, it's putting me to sleep. Every time I sit down to play it, it's just like, I want to know what's happening. I want to see more about this weird virtual world, and I want to know why they're here. And then I just get bogged down by the gameplay. And like I said, the frame rate is so freaking bad. Like, every single time that I pull the trigger to do a move, it just chugs the Vita. It's atrocious.
Oh, the Vita.
Yeah, did I not mention it's a Vita game?
No.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a Vita game. It's like one of the last Vita games that's like ever coming out. And it's like, I want to like this game. I really do. It's got like, there's something there about it. And I feel like if I could just get it to click with me, I feel like I would be having a good time. But I'm coming off Persona 5. Where it's like, amazing. Like, Persona 5 is like up there for me. Like, my Game of the Year list this year is like Yakuza, Persona 5, and Nier. And like, there's nothing else right now that is coming even close. And so to go from Persona 5, which is like a masterclass JRPG, to this, which is like not even close to the best. Like maybe mediocre at best. It's a bit of a disconnect. I'll be honest. Every time I sit down and play, it's like, why aren't I just playing Persona? It's so much more interesting.
It's pretty much how I feel about every other spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei that existed.
Okay, first of all, you take that back. Digital's Devil Saga is amazing and has one of the best storylines in the series. Nocturne is, again, that setting, fantastic. Like the whole rebirthing the world from inside the egg, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Why is he there?
Okay, this is going crazy off.
Brand synergy?
Surprisingly, no.
Brand synergy.
No, it's not brand synergy. He is there because it's cool. Because there are demons in the world, and Dante hunts demons, and hey, let's throw in this crazy popular character from this Capcom game. Whereas in the original Japanese version, it wasn't Dante, it was actually Raido Kuzunoa. But in the West, no one knew who the fuck Raido Kuzunoa is. Which brings me to my next point. The other spin-off game that is fantastic and maybe my favorite SMT game is Raido Kuzunoa. It's like...
the Abaddon's Army or whatever the hell it's called.
Dude, it is so good. It is set at just like the start of Japan's Industrial Revolution, and you play as like a guy who can summon demons and like has to go between our world and the demon realm, and it's not an RPG. It's a pseudo RPG. It's almost like an action RPG. Like you actually walk around with a sword, and then like you can summon demons to help you fight during battles. It's really good. Like I think you can download all of them on the PS3, PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility, and they're like on sale for $5 every other week. Like highly recommend Raido Kuzunoa. That's my one. If you take away nothing else from this podcast, Raido Kuzunoa, check it out.
Yeah. I think I got the PS2 version sitting there. I haven't got around to it.
This is again a case of what the hell are you doing? So, have you ever 100%ed an SMT game? Like,
no.
I find the idea of getting all of the demons so daunting. And
I've got a list here from when I was playing Persona 4 that is falling apart due to its age.
So it has about
printed a list. 10. No, I wrote it down on a notepad.
Oh, of course, you're right. That is way less crazy.
Of the missing demons and their fusions that I needed.
Oh my god, the fusion shit in P5 is actually getting to me. That's the one thing that's bugging the shit out of me. Like you have to bring you have to bring people like this isn't even really spoilers. I think they did this in 4, but like you have to bring personas with specific skills, and as you bring them personas with specific skills, they'll unlock more options for fusion. The problem is getting those personas with those skills is like there's not a good way to do that rather than just happening upon the two personas that make the other persona and they also have that skill. Like you get like cards that you can give to personas to make them learn moves, but it's just so late in the game that I feel like I'm lacking where I should be with that social link.
Yeah.
No.
Like I said, Shin Megami Tensei gets weird.
It does. I played 4 and I've played Apocalypse. They are really, really good if you're looking to jump in. But honestly, I don't think SMT, like the core SMT series has been topped since like the PlayStation 2. Like, I think Nocturne was the best SMT game. Like, hands down.
What, 3, I think?
Yeah. It was the most...
1 and 2 are on like the NES.
No, those are Megami Tensei games.
I'm pretty sure Shin Megami Tensei is a NES game as well.
I'm pretty sure Shin Megami Tensei... I think
they were remade on the Super NES.
On the SNES? Maybe. I don't know. I could have sworn they were all SNES, like the Shin games are SNES games. Okay, we're getting crazy off topic here. Okay, so anything else you wanted to talk about before we continue on to the news section?
I did get about maybe a sixth of the way through Yakuza 2.
Okay. So, obviously, because you're part of this podcast, here's what I'm going to need you to do. Every week, I need you to play at least, like, an hour of a Yakuza game. And I want to check back with you every week and see what your progress has been like. What sub-stories have you done? I want people to be able to ride along with your progress through this game. Now, I don't need you to 100% it. God knows you will. But This is my dream, is that we can follow your adventure as we go.
Well, that'd be great, but I don't have a shogi program to help me through those sub stories.
I will. There is only one part of the game. Is that in 1 or is that in 2? I can't remember.
Shogi is in 2.
Okay. There is one part of the game where you have to either win a shogi match to get some information, or you can just pay 5,000 yen and he just gives it to you. It's like, oh, thank you.
But it is a sub-story, and we have already established I need 100% this game. So
you do? So I expect there to be at least 3 weeks of time where I ask you what you've been doing, and the answer is nothing but shogi. I'm currently the world record holder for shogi, as I've been learning to play it just so I can pass this part of Yakuza 2.
I just want to cheese it with fighting a computer and replicating moves.
Yeah, I guess that's the way to do it too. Okay, so is there anything else?
Nah, I think that's it.
Okay, so welcome, Lachlan, to the Yakuza Fan Podcast. So we hope that you enjoy your stay here. You're pretty new to podcasting, right? I know we did some fooling around a few years ago, but I don't think you've really done anything since then, right?
Nah, not at all.
Okay, well, that's fine. We'll break you in slowly. We will nurse you back to health. Okay, so let's start off as we do, or did every week, with going down the list of stuff that has come up this week about Yakuza. Oh, you know what? No! Okay. We're going to do the news first, and then after that we can talk about what we've been playing this week. I know we kind of touched on it, but why don't we get the news out of the way? We're 25 minutes in now. Maybe we should talk a little bit about Yakuza instead of Shin Megami Tensei. So,
they're both Sega games.
So. With the way that company's structured right now, yeah, so. Okay, so let's go from the top. So, Toshihiro Nagashi teases various developments from the Yakuza studio. So, this is one that Gematsu translated directly from Nagoshi's personal blog, and I'm gonna read the quote here. Yakuza Studio has also reorganized, and from this year to next year, we're considering various developments, Nagoshi said. During that, I think there will surely be developments that everyone expects, but personally, while putting my strength into new developments, I'd like to work hard enough so that you expect great things from me. So, realistically, it doesn't say a lot, except that the Riga Gotoku studio has been reorganized, which we kind of already knew. I don't know whether this means they're only just now starting development or whether they've been working on it ever since the end of the last game. They've probably been working on the engine in some capacity as they reorganize and reshuffle their studios. Sega likes to do this every few years. They'll take all of their studios and reshuffle them, and people get moved around and reassigned, and usually it's a good thing. I mean, that's how the Yakuza series came to be, the merger of Smilebit and I believe Amusement Vision. And they reshuffled those teams, brought them together, and they formed Sega R&D. Sega Research and Development. I can't remember what the hell the full title was. And from that, they created the Yakuza series. So, a reshuffling can be good. I really hope that the new staff that are going to be working on it know what they're doing. I hope that they've taken this extra time to really beef up the story, because that's the one thing that I always thought was missing from Yakuza 6 was the story got really not so much convoluted. It was actually one of the easier to follow stories, but just a lot more like a cheesy movie, or like an action movie where just the plot moved from here to here to here to here, the end. And it's it didn't have all of the same kind of twists that the previous games did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like I'm to be fine with that. I don't need 1,000 twists to say twists.
I guess, but it was also way shorter because of it. Yakuza games, when I go into them, I expect to spend 60 hours with it, right? At least. That's about the length of a Yakuza game. Yakuza 6, I think I beat in about 30. So it really felt lacking.
Yeah, maybe.
So again, it wasn't
so many celebrities now.
There is, and don't get me wrong, Beat Takeshi is amazing. He is one of the best parts of the new game. I 100% think that he needs to be in every single Yakuza game from here on out. I know it's not going to happen, but what a cool guy. I don't know. I'm hoping to see a little bit more from the series as we move forward. Okay, next up we've got... Oh, okay. So this is something that Nagoshi brought up on the last Sega Raw live stream. I don't want to let it... I want to let everyone know now that we're probably not going to hear like anything fantastic, but Nagoshi has said that we're going to hear a little bit more about the next Yakuza game on May 30th, which apparently is this month, as we just learned. I really don't think we're going to see much of anything. Like, I'm hoping to see the new protagonist. I think it's more than likely we might see a new logo, or maybe Yokoyama will come in and talk about how great the script is coming along, but I really don't think we're going to see any kind of development stuff. If we see in Yakuza 7 before the end of this year, I think I'm going to be pretty pleasantly surprised. I don't know. Do you think they could make it by this year, Lachlan?
I don't know. How the series usually yearly? It's hard to keep up with the Japanese English release.
It typically is. I think the only one that was not yearly was 5, I think. Like, they took a 2-year break. They did Dead Souls, did a 2-year break, made 5, and then after that, I think it's been yearly ever since. If I recall, it's kind of a jumble. Except for Kiwami. Kiwami came out the same year as 6. Like, it came out in January, and then 6 came out in December. Which is great. I don't know whether we touched on it since the last podcast, but Kiwami has finally been announced for the West, which is awesome. But the best part is it's only going to be like, I think it's $30 or $40 US. Like, they're releasing it as a budget title, the same way they did in Japan. Which is...
So I expect it to be at least 60 to 70.
At least. But compared to how much these games used to cost, like, I think that Yakuza is one of those series that people don't know whether they want to spend that kind of money on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they see these games come out, they look very niche, and they cost the same as other big budget AAA games. And they except for this year, Yakuza always comes out at like the worst time. Like, it's great to release in the holidays in Japan. It is fucking awful to release those games like when they do here. They never sell well. They always come out against something like way more hyped.
Tell that to me being able to get Yakuza 0. Because that game sold out in its first week everywhere here.
Yakuza 0 is the one outlier. And I always give it up to the marketing department, but Yakuza 0 is marketed so well. I think that for the first time they actually knew what they were doing with the series. Like, with the way that the localization was written to make it a little bit more goofy. Like, I think they really played up the idea of, like, kind of like how Deadly Premonition is, how it's super serious and then cheesy as hell. Like, not just cheesy, but like ridiculous. And Zero is really good at doing that, especially with the localization.
It probably has a little more self-awareness than Deadly Premonition, though.
I don't know. I always got the sense that Deadly Premonition knew what it was doing and just hammed it up. Okay,
yeah, but then there's weird audio bugs and...
I say play the PlayStation 3 version, I think it is, like the master copy. I don't know what the hell it is. Like, I had it on...
Because Sweary is a director.
Yeah, like, I had it on... I had it on 360, like the original copy, and the second that director's cut came out, I was like, okay, fuck off, I don't need this anymore. That game is weird, man. That is a trip. But let's get back on topic here. Yeah, so Kiwami, like, super cheap. Go pre-order it. I expect that to be one that does sell out surprisingly quickly. So if you want a copy of Kiwami, make sure you grab it.
I do want that sweet steelbook case.
It looks really good. I cannot believe how good they've been doing with that kind of stuff. That's all Atlus's influence, though. Like, Atlus gets it. Okay, so let's move on here. Okay, this is something that caught me by surprise. And I don't know whether you've heard about this story, but the director for Tekken 7, Katsuhiro Harada, you've probably seen him on various PlayStation streams being a weirdo. He's releasing Tekken 7, and they've already announced the DLC. Now, the second DLC pack that's coming out plans to have crossover characters from other games appearing in the DLC. So, they haven't decided yet what characters that's going to be. So, Harada took to Twitter and said, hey, what characters would you guys like to see in 7? And I'll see whether I can make it happen. And overwhelmingly, and I say overwhelmingly because I feel like not a lot of people have picked up on this when it was announced, but overwhelmingly, the most requested character for Tekken 7 was Kiryu. Which, I don't know a whole hell of a lot about Tekken, but from what I've seen, is it, there's the main character of Tekken. People are probably yelling at me about this right now. It's not Heihachi. It's, what?
It's the Mishimas. It's Heihachi, Kazuya, and Jin.
Jin's the one I'm talking about. Am I the only one who thinks that Jin and Kazuma look like really similar? I'm gonna bring up a picture of him right now.
Jin is a lot younger and has a lot spikier hair.
Yeah. That's the guy I'm thinking of.
He unlearned Mishima style.
Why? How do you know this?
I played some Tekken.
Really?
Yeah. I played Tekken. I bought Tekken 3 or Tekken 2. I can't remember at a store that was going out of business, along with Heart of Darkness and Parappa the Rapper.
Okay, that's a pretty good deal. I'll give you that.
Like $5 each, and I was like, done. Give me all these PlayStation 1 games.
Okay.
And I got Tekken 5 on the PSP, and I played a ton of that.
I remember seeing the one for the PSP. I never got into Tekken for whatever reason. I'm going to bring up the PlayStation Store right now, and I'm going to see whether I have any like Tekkens like as part of like my PlayStation Plus deal. I get the sense that I do, and if I do, I'm gonna download it and I'm gonna see what this Tekken thing's all about. I don't know. The more that I look at this, the less convinced I am that I'm actually going. Oh, here we go. I got Tekken 6 on the PSP, ready to go. I can load that right. I can load it right onto my Vita. So.
Well, yeah. Kiryu. Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was waiting for you to say something.
I got real quiet there for a sec.
I'm giving you the floor.
Okay. Yeah, Kiryu makes a lot of sense for Tekken. The Mishima Zaibatsu is a massive thing in that game. Mm-hmm. They're constantly fighting over who heads it. For some reason, you can just go and beat up the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu, and then you own it.
No, that makes sense.
Never really explained why. At one point, Kuma, Heihachi's pet bear, beat up Heihachi and became head of the Zaibatsu.
I get it. Like, I really do. Like, it makes the whole concept actually makes a lot of sense to me. And if it was up to me, that's how my family would work. Like, I got 5 kids. The second that one of them can kick my ass, the second he's in charge.
Throw him down a mountain then.
Yeah, well, that's the plan.
That's the Heihachi way.
Yeah, well, I need to find a mountain first. Right? I'm on the plains of Manitoba. There's not a mountain for miles. The closest mountain is a small hill with a prison about like 30 minutes away from me.
Oh, well, then, I think one of them, he throws him out of a satellite in space. So, you do that.
Why? I always thought Tekken was this like super serious like martial arts tournament kind of series. You know what I mean?
Oh no, none of it makes any sense.
Really, I thought there was there's joke characters in there. There's a bear. How silly! But I thought that when it came down to it, it was like a serious martial arts kind of thing.
Kazuya has the devil gene.
I don't know what that means.
Explained. It means he turns into a devil.
Of course he does. What was it?
And fires lasers from his eyes.
Okay, well,
Heihachi's jealous because he doesn't have the devil gene. Ooh, but he wants it because it gives him power.
Well, I feel like...
And his grandfather is also a big devil who was locked under a Japanese shrine for 70 years.
That sounds fucking awesome. Okay, subscribe me to that. I don't know. I just feel based just straight on aesthetics alone, I feel like Kiryu could just fit right into that roster. Like, if they just added him as a character and like Yakuza wasn't a thing, I feel like they could just slot him right in and he'd be good to go. It's like, especially with his moveset from like 6, where you can like turn on heat mode and you've got like all those like really brawler heavy styles. I don't know. I feel like having Kiryu could work. So if you guys want to see Kiryu and Tekken, tweet Harada at @Harada_Tekken, or just search Harada Twitter. It'll come up. It's really easy to find. So yeah, let them know over there that you want to see Kiryu in Tekken. Let's move on from that. We still have a little bit more news to get through here. It's been a long few weeks. So, next up, Sega has relaunched their Yakuza website. So if you head over to, I believe it's yakuza.sega.com. Let me just bring that up here. Yeah, yakuza.sega.com. And now you can see they're actually promoting Yakuza 6. They've got the logo up there. I still think it's supposed to be the Poetry of Life, not the Song of Life, but that's fine. And you can now look at the Kiwami website, which has a whole bunch of stuff on it. Like it mirrors the Japanese site. You can go and see what all the buzz about Kiwami is. You can see kind of the features of the game. The most interesting thing that they've uploaded now that I wasn't expecting is something called the Yakuza Experience, where there's a 360-degree like tour of Kamurocho. So you can like it. That's the one thing that's not up yet. That's coming soon. So the plan there is to be able to use either a like a VR headset to look around, or just like click around like a Google Map kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just the 3D.
Exactly. There's also there's also a character map and timeline, which is really cool. It's basically just a bunch of floating heads that have.
Like for Kiwami, that'd get kind of spoilery.
I mean, I guess a little bit, but they I believe it stops.
This is just 0.
It stops at 1995.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the idea
you went to prison.
Exactly. So you can kind of get caught up on it. It's really cool. I really like the way that it's been set up. It's very HTML5y. Like I appreciate it. The last thing that's actually still on there that we haven't really touched on yet is the interactive comic, which I don't know how often this thing's supposed to be updated. I thought it was going to be weekly, but basically you've read that the Metal Gear Solid PSP comic. What the hell was that thing called?
Digital graphic novel.
That's the one. It's basically like that, except there's no voice acting. Like you'll load it up, and then like a scene will play out, and like it'll actually do a little bit of animation for the comic book, and then as you scroll down, it'll play it all out. I gotta be honest, I fucking hate this art style. Like I really, really hate this art style. Like nobody looks like how they should look. I don't know where they're finding these artists, but I don't like it. Like this should be like a manga art style. This shouldn't be this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it American or Japanese?
No, it's American as hell. Like it is.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is gratuitously American.
For a series that's so steeped in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
It seems weird.
It really does. Do you remember reading the Nier comic book? Like that released pre the game, where it like spoiled everything? Like I can't remember who put it together. It was maybe Dark Horse or one of those, like, in my opinion, B-tier comic book publishers. Is Dark Horse the one I'm thinking of that's kind of meh?
Not one of the big ones, I don't think.
I know Dark Horse might be the one that publishes Berserk. There's one that's like really mediocre, and they do like video game-esque comics, and like they don't have any idea of what the story is or what subtlety is. It's just pump this out as quickly and as cheaply as you can, and just leave it like that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the inner workings. It might be Dark Horse, but I don't know enough about the inner workings.
Yeah, you know what? Let me know in the comments below which studio I'm thinking of, because I'm not sold on this art. I don't like the way it looks. I think it looks very maybe not. I mean, I'll say it. I think it looks kind of amateurish. Everything's been tweened together. It just looks kind of like if I was sitting down not understanding the Yakuza story, I wouldn't be sold on it from this artwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It may get better in the next issue. Again, it's been a little while since we've actually had anything, but what I'm looking at right now, it looks really bad. Okay, so go and check that out. Sega.yakuza.com.
Who did the
Yakuza.sega.com.
Does it seem similar to the Dark Souls comic that they did?
There was a Dark Souls comic?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
I didn't want to get it because it seemed kind of counter to what Dark Souls is.
I would say that you're correct. I'm looking at it right now. No, the Dark Souls comic actually looks better. I don't know who wrote this, but or who drew this.
Well, it clearly had some money put into it, whereas I don't think the comic on a web page.
It looks pretty bad, I'll be honest. Oh, wow, I'm just kind of going through this Dark Souls comic. It's surprisingly... It's actually way better than I would have expected. It
looked okay, but as soon as you call it Dark Souls, I go... Ugh.
It reminds me of Conan. Like that kind of style. Like Conan the Barbarian comics.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Solaire is here. The sun on his chest is super angry.
Why would he be there?
This is insane. Okay,
Other than the convoluted time of Lordran.
Yeah, okay, so here's something way better. Go and read the Dark Souls comic instead of the Yakuza one. The Yakuza one's just going to tell you what happened in Yakuza. This Dark Souls one goes places. Holy shit, this comic goes places. That is so strange. Okay, yeah, I highly recommend Dark Souls comic. Just Google it. Let's get back into the news here. So, the last piece of news that we really have here is a little while ago during the launch of Yakuza 0, to make up for the atrocious day one pre-ordering in Europe, Sega released 6 Yakuza 0 avatars and a free theme to go along with the release of the game. Because you couldn't pre-order Yakuza 0 digitally in Europe, they just put up a bunch of free shit and then people just bought it all day one. That's finally out in North America, so you can go and download those icons and that theme. It's all free. Just go on the PSN, search for Yakuza, you'll find them. They're pretty good. I mean, I've got nothing bad to say about them. I really wish companies would go a little bit more all out with their dynamic themes, because I find especially the Yakuza themes are just so basic. I don't know. I've always thought that they could do a little bit more to improve what they've with what they have. They should be able to make the themes a lot more dynamic when you're just sitting there on your home screen.
Yeah, I mean, I would put it at Bustling Streets of Kamurocho or Hostess Bar.
But that's exactly it. All you need to do is if it were up to me and I was doing the animation, I would just sit at the end of Tenkaichi Street, point the camera down the street, and then just record that. Just a looping gif of that. And then there you go, there's your dynamic theme. That's all I want. And then put some music behind it. There's a great theme for Yakuza 6 that I've got, but the music is hardcore rock. And it's every time I turn on my PlayStation, it's just wailing electric guitars, and it's Jesus, stop, please.
This is Yakuza 0, isn't it? It's the 80s.
No, this is for Yakuza 6. Yakuza 0, you know what? I don't think I've actually downloaded the theme yet, because right now my theme is Parappa the Rapper.
Well, who wants to get rid of that lovable guy?
You know what? After I went and played Parappa the Rapper 1, then I went and played Parappa the Rapper 2, and I'm at the point of getting rid of that lovable guy. Parappa the Rapper 2.
2 sucks.
Oh,
don't play Parappa the Rapper 2.
Parappa 2 is the worst. I got it for $3 when it was on sale a couple of weeks ago. And it's oh man, this game, what happened?
I was so excited, and then it's Parappa 2.
Yeah. Is
it's all that noodles,
very
isn't
good?
it?
It's fucking
Jam Alami's the best.
Jam Alami, I remember playing that back in the day, but I don't remember whether I actually liked it or not.
Jam Alami is basically Parappa 1.
Yeah.
Except it's about a lamb girl who's going to a rock concert, and then she dies and goes to hell.
That's exactly what I want.
Jams her way out on a guitar.
Oh, dude, that's fucking awesome. Okay, here's what I want. Why hasn't
Hold on, you haven't heard the best part.
Okay.
once you finish Jam Lamy, you unlock Parappa mode, which just turns it into another Parappa game where you rap along to Lammy's songs.
Dude, that's fucking sick. I had no idea. Okay, so obviously after this, I'm going to go track down a copy of Jam Lamy. I think I actually have a physical copy of that sitting around in my office somewhere. Okay. That's it. We got through all the news. There is nothing else happening in the world of Yakuza right now. Kiwami's on its way to the West. 7 is in development in Japan. We might hear something about it on May 30th at the next live stream. I sincerely doubt it. You know what? Let me just bring up one little thing that I don't think I actually touched on here. I thought was really good. This was a quote from Nagoshi, one of the Nagoshi's live streams. Where is it here? Sorry, just bear with me. And of course, I've lost the damn thing. Okay, here it is. Okay, so Nagoshi on his live stream says, and I quote, "As long as Yakuza 6 is late..." Okay, this was during the Famitsu Award. How did I miss this? This was on my list. Okay. Yakuza 6 picked up the Famitsu, one of the awards at Famitsu. It was like an excellence award. It wasn't the best game of the year. I can't remember what one. Possibly Pokemon. Who cares? It wasn't Yakuza. It doesn't matter. So Yakuza 6 picked up an excellence award from Famitsu. So Nagoshi gets up to accept the reward and says, hey, expect the next the Yakuza 7 announcement really soon. And then after that, he sits down on a live stream with like the editor-in-chief of Famitsu and gives like a little bit more of an idea of what can be expected. So he says, as long as Yakuza 6 is labeled the final chapter of Kazuma Kiryu, we won't be saying anything like just kidding. Which gives me hope that we're going to be seeing a new protagonist. I'm really concerned they're going to go back into Kiryu's past and make like a, here's his weird misadventures during the years between 0 and 1. Like from 1988 to 1995. The only thing that would make this okay for me is if they went back and made him like a school-age kid, like growing up in the orphanage, going to school, like basically make it a Crows style video game where you're playing as like a delinquent who's trying to come to grips with, society and the expectations and trying to move out of the school and into a Yakuza lifestyle.
You just want Shonen Junaigumi the game.
I do just want Shonen Junaigumi the game. I don't think it's any kind of secret that on this show, Deacon really loves Shonen Junaigumi. Crows is probably the closest thing to what I'm thinking of, though.
I'm not even sure what that is.
It's basically like a bunch of teenagers in a high school kicking each other's ass.
Yeah. A lot kind of stuff.
What's that?
Kenkabancho kind of stuff.
Exactly. That's what I want. I want the Kenkabancho of Yakuza games. Young Kiryu.
Like Kenkabancho.
Kenkabancho is so good. Everyone go download Kenkabancho. Anyway, so then he goes on to say that one of the keywords that I want to create a new Rigagotoku. So that's kind of like the mindset that Nagoshi's going into this next series with. Or this next game, I should say. That he's trying to focus on this being new. Like, don't go into it with any preconceived notions. This is new. Which, again, great. That's exactly what I want to hear. He then goes on to say, I don't think it's necessary to narrow it down to a single title. It may be multiple titles. I don't know how I feel about that. To me, that sounds like this is the springboard for the next few years of series. Like, don't think we're just going to get this one little thing and then that's going to be the end of it. It's going to be this long... Like, we're building a protagonist, or we're going to be building a series that carries through. Which I'm okay with. Like, how would... Lachlan, how would you prefer a one-off kind of game like, like Ishin or Kenzen, or would you prefer the basis for the next few games?
I think I prefer a laying of groundwork. I don't want like a trilogy that ends at a cliffhanger.
True.
If it's just like, hey, we'll follow this character over the next few years as he gets involved in that stuff.
Okay.
That's good. I'm fine with that. I
Okay.
don't want some weird like, I'll find out in a few years who the murderer of that guy in part 1 was.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I want them to keep the formula that they have with the current Yakuza games, where everything is self-contained. Like, the way they've always said they go into making these games is, this could be our last shot. Don't leave any threads loose. Like, they go to the nth degree to wrap up a Yakuza game every single time, to make sure that every character gets wrapped up somehow. And that's because they go into every game thinking, we may not get the budget for another one of these. We've been doing this for 10 years now. Eventually someone's going to pull the rug out from under us. Let's make sure that everything closes.
It does confuse me. Like, the Yakuza series doesn't gel with Sega's weird, we're going to focus on aliens and Sonic.
I mean...
They're still doing that.
They
sold one game and completely changed strategy again.
I don't know who owns Aliens at this point, but Total War is Sega.
Sega still has the... Well, yeah, I believe the announcement from a few years ago was Total War, like established franchises, Aliens, and Sega.
Yeah, exactly. I think that that's just the Western idea. I think that... I think when that announcement was made, they didn't realize how influential their Japanese brands were. Like, I think that all they saw was those brands and were like, okay, we need to focus on these because that's what the fans want. And I don't think anyone on the Western side of things realized that, no, Sega, we just want your Japanese shit. Like, I feel like we could fuck off all these other series and just coast through on what they're making on for the Japanese market and everyone would be happy. Like, Nagoshi released Hero Bank, and that never made it out over here. And I was so excited to check that out, but it just never came.
Don't even know what that is.
Exactly. It's this like, it's a 3DS brawling kind of game where like heroes get sponsors and then go into like a battle arena, and then the more ass you kick, the more money you get, and then you use that money to level up your hero and buy more add-ons and, you know, tricks and shit like that. And the whole game is built around making as much yen as you possibly can. You know,
this is the guy that made Yakuza 0? Oh, weird.
Yes, yeah, I know, right? But, I mean, it's a good idea. And, I was always really shocked it never came out here. Like, it was big enough in Japan that it got, like, a 40-episode anime series. You can go and watch the series right now on Crunchyroll. And just for some reason, it just never made its way over, and I don't know why. And I can only guess it's because it was during that weird transitional period where Sega and Atlas West merged and, like, nothing came out. Like, it's the thing that almost cost us Yakuza 5.
Yeah, and it's on the 3DS, which...
Yeah, but that's not a big deal. We literally, in the last week, got announced that there's a new 2DS... what's it called? The new 2DS XL coming. Which, Jesus Christ, Nintendo, turn down those naming schemes.
Yeah. Well, for an untested franchise on a portable in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of heroes was it? Like Japanese Sentai or?
Sentai is probably
the American.
No. I'd say Sentai is probably the closest. Like
Tokusatsu stuff.
Yeah, like more like Gatchaman maybe.
Yeah.
It was
early
good.
precursor kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It was good. Like I was really digging the designs. I was really digging the aesthetic.
It's the best title. The Science Ninja Team.
Yeah, it never came out. Anyway, so going back to the point here, I think that, would you like to see them create a character that's meant to last as long as Kiryu does? Or do you think it would be better to have a set idea? Like, at this point, Ryuga Gotoku is a staple. Like, the Yakuza series, once it starts, it goes and goes and goes. There's no slowdown for the series. Again, they turned this stupid idea into a yearly franchise. Do you think that it would be... Do you think that... Let me get to my question. Do you think it would be better to do, say, a 3-year set of games? Like, you get a trilogy. This trilogy is about this character. And at the end of the trilogy, he's done. We move on to someone else. Or do you think it's better to lay the groundwork now for the next 10 years?
I would prefer a trilogy. Just because, like, with Kiryu even, it gets weird where every game he's like, I finally solved all of my problems. Now I'm going to go off into retirement.
Yeah.
And then every time he keeps getting drawn back in, it's like, at least with like setting out like a character that can go from one adventure to the next, you don't have to end it with him leaving the Yakuza life.
I think you do, but you only need to do it once. Like that, I think that a trilogy would be the perfect way to like. You've got that intro point where people can come into the series and just, get an idea of the world, and then the second game they're getting really into it, like really dark, really deep, and then the final game he pulls his head out, defeats whatever evil is plaguing him, and then, leaves forever. Maybe he comes back in like the sequel as like a training character, something like that.
Yeah,
makes sense.
How did because I mean that's essentially what the Kuroho games were, right? Kurohei?
Kuroho.
Black Panther.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so, but he was more into like a mixed martial arts kind of thing. I never actually beat the second one. I've got it sitting here, but I need to sit down and actively play it. Like, I need to make the conscious effort to pull out my PSP, take Parappa out of it, and just play. And then it's all in Japanese, so I've got to translate through menus. And the best thing that Kuroho 2 did was add a save anywhere functionality. That and leveling up like your fighters. That one's actually really good.
You get a team of mixed martial artists.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Like you can you find people with like all different skill sets, and then you can train them up. And then, if I recall, you can like send them out to fight for you. But I don't really remember how it works. And again, it's full of so much Japanese that I can't remember everything about it. I remember like the customization options were next level, where they had like a ton of clothing options for you to like change into during the game. Little known fact, that team then went on to make the Style Savvy series on the 3DS. I guess their clothing customization system was so good that they made a game for girls about playing dress up. Which I'm not knocking. Style Savvy's fucking great.
I don't have daughters as an excuse to be playing Style Savvy.
It's okay. You don't need to go that far. Once you've wrapped up Kuroho 2, maybe we can move into that. I'm going the other way, where I'm playing all Negoshi games all the time at this point.
Monkey Ball.
Dude, if I could find a copy of Monkey Ball, I'd be playing it. I'd be like, let's playing that. Anyway, so let's move on here. We're almost at the end of the podcast, so I just want to get this last couple of things out here. So he goes on to say, we created the Dragon Engine with Yakuza 6, but the game engine itself will be completed with the development of the second or third title. Which, for anyone who's played 6, especially wandered around Kamurocho and just walked into like barriers, they're just so lazily placed. Like they're so obviously, we ran out of time barriers. Like,
I think it adds realism.
Oh no, it's real bad. Especially because they're like, oh well, you can't go down here. There was some flooding at a sewer, and like everything's backed up. We've had to close down the streets. But if you stop to think about that for more than a second, it's like, well, there was only one sewer over here, and that sewer is where like, all of the weird underground shit was happening in the first couple of games. So is everyone okay? We're just not going to touch on this? Like, it seems like it should be for something more, and then just isn't. I don't know. I really hope that they just expand on it, expand the city. Like, even if they add like another couple of blocks to the city, I think that maybe not in the next title, but in the next title, we might get to see something more like that. And then he goes.
The next one, you probably just get a fully. Kamurocho will be back to what it was prior to the Dragon Engine.
Maybe, but like they put so much time and attention into Onamichi. Like Onamichi is like one of my favorite small town video game locations. Like if you think of like oh god, what was the town in Persona 5 there?
Persona 5 or Persona 4?
Persona 4. I'm sorry.
Inaba.
Yeah. If you think of that kind of like small Japanese town, nothing ever happens here. That's what Onamichi was. It is fantastic. There is. I have such a thing for that aesthetic kind of town where just it's slow, nothing happens. If it were up to me and I could get like good Wi-Fi, that'd be like my ideal retirement spot. So
you just want that. What was the Akira Kurosawa's dreams?
I
Dude
do.
who was just living in like a water wheel.
I do. Like, I want that whole aesthetic thing is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. So hopefully he'll have that. I just want to see the new engine. I want them to add more heat actions. I want them to add more, just more.
I imagine it's like the same engine, right?
The Dragon engine is... The Dragon engine like was completely rebuilt from the ground up. I believe when it was put together, he said it was something like the going from a family sedan to a luxury car. That was the change in engine feeling that he wanted to hit. And I got to say, like, I went back into Yakuza 6 today to grab some screenshots. Holy shit, the Dragon engine is good. It's a little shallow, but overall, it is so much fun to play around it. Like, everything feels like it's got weight. Like, it just feels so fluid. Like, ducking in and out of buildings feels amazing.
Yeah, no, I guess I'll just expand that for the 7.
I hope so. Like, I'm done wandering, like, this one little city street, you know?
Yeah, it feels like the most typical sequel thing.
Yeah.
Like, we built this engine, we built a game on it. It's a little shallow.
Yeah.
Next game, we'll expand it.
Yeah. I hope. Anyway, then the last thing he says is, I'm already working on the next title. In the not-too-distant future, I think there will be an opportunity to talk about the next game's development in a relatively early stage, which we know at this point means on March 29th, I believe I said. May 30th. Jeez, what the hell is with me and dates tonight?
Keep getting March and May confused.
I really do. They both start with M, and I get the first letter out, and I just get so excited I rush to the end. Okay, so that about wraps it up for the news. Let's talk for a second what we got coming up on the channel here before we wrap up. We just released a Yakuza 7 fan speculation video where I go over like all the things I want to see in Yakuza 7. I know a lot of it is probably not going to happen. I talk a lot about World War II and like setting the game around that period, like right after the bombs have been dropped on Tokyo and Shinjuku's been like leveled. There's like, if you go back and look at the history of Kamurocho or Kabukicho, like that place got totally destroyed. A lot of Chinese investors came in and helped rebuild it. There was going to be a Kabuki theater, which is where it got its name from, Kabukicho. But
that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but for one reason or another, the funding fell through. It's not super clear what happened to the money. So, like, for me, that's your premise right there. Like, set it right at the beginning, right at the beginning of that restoration. Set it as like you play as like the first member of the Tojo clan.
What's Kamuro mean though?
Kamuro, if I recall, it means something like a soap house or like a soap land kind of deal, or prostitutes, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, wow, that was real on the nose there, I guess.
Yes. Oh yeah. Like they definitely named it after a red light district. Like instead of Kabukicho, it's like, oh no, this is like where you go for your sex stuff. This is where all your passions are fulfilled, kind of thing.
Well, that's also Kabukicho is also where that robot restaurant is.
Dude, I got a friend. She just got back from Kabukicho. She's been posting pictures. Holy shit! Like, what an experience! I'm so jealous, but it's absolutely amazing. Like, my dream is to one day hit that up. Did you actually? You've been to Japan. Did you actually make it over to Kabukicho?
I did. I posted photos from it.
Okay, I'm gonna need to get that. I'm going to need to get those photos from you. Were you accosted by any Yakuza?
Not Yakuza. A lot of Nigerians ushering people into clubs.
I can see that. They actually have a bunch of that in Persona 5, actually. And there is
I believe one of my friends, he went to Japan, I think by himself.
Yeah.
Went to I don't know if it was in Kabukicho.
Yeah.
Got ushered into a club, started having a bunch of drinks, and then, surprise, these drinks weren't on the house. You got to start paying.
Who would think that, though?
I believe they led him into thinking it was, because he went to like a cabaret, I guess, or a strip club, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, hey, have some drinks while you pay our dancers, and then whoops.
Oh, that's crazy.
Now you've got a tab.
Okay, here's a scam that I've heard, is that like they'll pull that shit, and then like the organizations themselves will have we only accept cash for payment here. Luckily, there's an ATM in our lobby, but the organization itself owns the ATM and sets like this exorbitant fee for transactions. It's like, you know, whatever money you get out, you pay like 20% on top of that, and that just goes right into, you know, their pockets. It's so shady. So if you head over to Kabukicho, you wash your ass.
Some weird game centers, though.
They have the best game centers there.
I think the Capcom bar is just on the outskirts.
Oh, dude. My dream is to visit Kabukicho one day. That's all I want to do. Okay, the only other thing that we've got up on the channel, or coming up on the channel, I should say, at this point I imagine it's probably up for everybody, is Forging the Dragon Part 8. It's been a long time coming. Like I said, it's been kind of hectic here the last couple of months. I think we're finally back on schedule to, you know, start releasing content regularly. Lachlan, you've been working behind the scenes to help me out. I just want to say thank you so much. As you can see, you've got a nice little credit in the end of the video. We even added an extra dot to the ellipses. Ellipses? No. Well, what's the word I'm thinking of? It is ellipses? Okay.
So ellipses.
Yeah, I am thinking of ellipses. No, I'm thinking of a colon. I got it turned sideways. But yeah, thank you so much for your help with that. Lachlan did some script editing. Again, I think it turned out really good. I feel like this episode is maybe a little shorter, but maybe a little bit more passionate. So that about wraps it up. Lachlan, thank you so much for listening to me talk for the last hour and whatever minutes this has been. I know we're kind of getting our feet wet. Lachlan, you've got to... If you feel like you need to say something, you just have to talk over me, because I will just go and go and go. Like, this is something I had to train Cal to do. Just jump in, push me out of the way, and say what you need to say, because it takes some getting used to. I understand that.
Yeah, it works out okay, because I feel like I don't have that much to say.
It's okay. Like,
I'll have difficulty getting into what I want to say.
That's okay. Hey, you know what? If you got something to say, just jump in. Again, I will be expecting a progress report. So the thing you need to do this week is to start another Yakuza game. Because I'm going to start asking you every week. I want a status update of where you sit. Because
Kiwami's coming out. Kiwami's like a great jumping on point.
You know what?
One.
I tell you right now, 0 is a great jumping on point. That is one of the best Yakuza games. Hell, I gave it a 5 in my review. I gave 6 I think a 3.5. 4 and 0 got a 5. Like that is, for my money, the best Yakuza game so far has been 0. And I cannot oversell how good that game is.
Well, I can't play it because everywhere was sold out.
Well, buy it digitally. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't want to get it digitally.
Well, you're going to have to.
I wanted a cool business card holder. No.
We all want cool business card holders. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully we can get back into making this a weekly thing. Now that we're through the news, we're going to head back into that dark times of, hey, let's just talk about anything. And so we'll be maybe a little bit more prepared for that next week. So again...
You don't want to spread out this news?
I don't feel like there's a point in spreading out this news. It's all very... Like I said, we're playing catch up at this point. Anyway, Lachlan, thank you so much for being here with me. We finally made it. And we will talk to you guys next week. Later.